Welcome to the messy garage. Getting ready to weld this floor pan in place. I'm going to probably try and do that today. First thing I got to do is put some holes in it, and I'm going to use those to, they're going to act like spot welds when I put this thing down. And to do it, I'm going to use this tool here. You get this at Harbor Freight. You can usually pick it up on $35, $25, somewhere around that range. It's a really cool tool when it works. I took one back because it worked for about 5 minutes and then it stopped. Then I got another one that did exactly the same thing. So I started doing some research on the line and seeing what was up with these things, if they're just junk or what. What it turns out is, and the instructions really aren't that clear on it, there's an oil hole right here and you have to fill this thing. It acts like a hydraulic tool, so you have to keep the hydraulic cylinder filled on it. It's a hydraulic pneumatic. So the oil over time leaks out of this thing. I left it sitting for a while on my bench and it made a puddle of oil. So you got to take this thing out and very slowly trickle drop by drop oil into it. I'm using transmission fluid because that's what I've got. The only thing I've got that's close to hydraulic oil in my garage. It seems to be working okay, but when it works really well. It's situated on here. It just pop. Makes a nice little hole, perfect size. And I'm making holes about every inch or so. And that's how we're going to spot weld this thing in. I'm not going to go around the entire pan with these holes. This is on the inside where it's going to weld up to that flange right there. I kind of trimmed it a little too much. So I'm going to just edge weld it in on the section right around here. Made a mark on the pan where I want to stop punching holes right there. So I'm just going to punch a bunch of holes. Get this thing on the other side here. And you couldn't hook that if you tried. Look at that. If you tried doing that, you'd never ever do it. Now I got one hand free. There we go. On the other side here by the seat bracket. And then I need to do over here, the back of the seat pan. Yeah, cleaned up a bit, can you tell? Switch hands here. Flanger. Another thing this will do is make a flange on metal, supposedly. If you've looked around the web at all to see other people's videos, I happened upon a young lady's website or channel on YouTube called Hannah's Bug, and it was she was doing some amazing stuff. I think she was like 14 or 15 years old when she was doing it. She just kind of it disappeared. Nobody really seems to know what happened. Probably some creepers on YouTube got to her. But anyway, she used the same tool, and I learned a lot from her, and I assume there was somebody helping her out because she was way knowledgeable about this stuff. But when I did my raising my body up so I could lower it onto the body pan or body dolly, I watched a lot of what she was doing. She built this giant gantry.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you? She built this giant gantry crane. It was really impressive. It was way overkill and way more than I was going to do, but I kind of modeled my stuff over hers. But yeah, it's well worth checking out if you're working on a bug to see what she was doing, because she was really doing amazing stuff. I just wonder whatever happened to her in her car. She was working on like a 61, I think. Full, pans and heater channels and all that. So anyway, still got a little bit of cleaning up. There's a lot of deep rust on this flange. It's worse than the other side by quite a bit. But I think it's okay. I really don't want to change it out. It's one of those things I kind of debate about. Is it worth it? I think there's enough support there. So I'm probably just going to leave it. Anyway, moving on to the next thing here. So I want to kind of show you the gist of what I'm doing. I've got it tacked in place, but now I've got the seam right here where it's a little wide. I trimmed too much off, so I'm going to actually do an edge. I'm going to weld right on the edge. So what I'm going to do, because this material on here is so thick and this is thinner, I'm going to heat up this surface on the edge down here and then bring it over into the thinner material to just kind of let it melt in. Like that. Pretty good? Yep. Did what it needed to do. Just gonna do that a few places along the way here. Like that. I think I fried a ant. No, he's still around. He's probably blind as shit. Let's try another area over here. There's a pretty big gap there, but it'll work. And when I do these little ones here, like that, let's pick one you guys can see. Can you see this one? Yeah, you can see this one here, right? Yeah, good. This one's the same kind of thing where I'll heat up the middle of the hole and then I'll spread it over into the thinner material. And it effectively creates a spot weld. It's pretty neat. Down here. And I'll just kind of keep going around filling all these holes up like that. You don't want to do too much in one area, otherwise it'll heat the material up and it'll warp. It's kind of hard to do it with this kind of material, but I still got to think about that. Beautiful. There. At this point, it's pretty solid. So I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around and finish it all up. I'll end up with a big chunk of wire here, and I kind of just fry it off. Beginning. Perfect. The first floor pan I did on the other side looked pretty bad, but I've gotten better at welding. Thankfully, I felt pretty bad. I was so bad at it. Let's move back down here. A little more of this stuff. I'm not going to film all this, but you kind of get the idea. There you go. So this is what I ended up with. Nothing real pretty or anything, but it should hold. I'll probably add a couple little more welds in here now that I'm looking at it. And I will definitely grind some of them down because they're not that pretty. They're kind of sloppy, but now this corner here, this is where I had some problems. It took me 3 attempts to get these welds to hold. I don't know exactly what was going on. Maybe it's a thicker metal here or something, but it took a lot of work to get this to go. Eventually I cranked up the heat on the welder, the voltage, and that seemed to do the trick. You can see some of those things got pretty hot, but it's all welded up now. And now I get to move on to the other side. Feels good to have it done. My back hurts from all this hunching over, but there you go.